A female customer berates an employee with Down syndrome, unaware that John Kennedy is watching. The Greenleaf Market sat nestled at the corner of a bustling neighborhood where the hum of passing cars mingled with the chatter of pedestrians weaving through the streets. For Tom, a 22-year-old with Down syndrome, this wasn't just a grocery store, it was a chance to prove himself, to carve out a place in a world that often felt too big, too fast, too unforgiving. Today marked his first day on the job, and his heart thumped with a cocktail of excitement and nerves. Clad in a freshly ironed green uniform, Tom stood before the small mirror in his modest apartment, smoothing the fabric over his chest. "I can do this," he whispered to himself, his voice soft but determined. "I'm going to do great." Yet, as he adjusted his name tag, old memories crept in uninvited like shadows slipping through a crack in the door. He saw himself as a boy, sitting at a worn kitchen table, his former stepfather Carl looming over him. Carl's voice was a blade sharp and cold. "You're a burden, Tom. Don't even dream of amounting to anything." Those words had burrowed deep, leaving scars on Tom's self-esteem that still ached on days like this. But his mother's voice, warm and unwavering, had anchored him that morning before he left. "You're my pride, Tom," she'd said, brushing a hand through his hair. "Just be you." Her words were a lifeline, a beacon, guiding him through the fog of doubt. Now stepping through the automatic doors of Greenleaf, Tom felt the market's energy wrap around him. The air buzzed with the clatter of shopping carts, the faint scent of fresh-baked bread from the bakery section, and the bright glow of fluorescent lights overhead. It was a world alive with motion and sound, both familiar and daunting. Sarah, the store manager, greeted him with a smile that crinkled the corners of her eyes. "Welcome, Tom. Ready to get started. We're thrilled to have you on the team." Sarah, a middle-aged woman with her hair tied back in a neat ponytail, radiated a kindness that eased the knot in Tom's stomach. He nodded eagerly, his grin wide. "Yes, ma'am. I'll do my very best." Sarah's warmth felt like a promise that he could belong here, that he could make this work. She led him through the aisles, her voice steady as she explained his duties, restocking shelves, assisting customers, and working at the checkout counter. Tom listened intently, his brow furrowed in concentration as he mentally repeated her instructions. "Scan the code bag. The items carefully smile," he murmured to himself, committing each step to memory. Though it took him a little longer to process the details, his enthusiasm shone through, and Sarah noticed. "Take your time, Tom," she said, patting his shoulder. "You're doing great already." Her encouragement was a spark igniting a flicker of pride in his chest. But not everyone shared Sarah's patience. As Tom carefully arranged cans of soup on a shelf, he caught a whisper from Jake, a veteran employee with a sharp jaw and a skeptical glance. "Is he gonna keep up?" Jake muttered to another co-worker, his voice low, but not low enough. "I mean, can he even handle this?" Tom's cheeks flushed, but he kept his eyes on the cans, pretending he hadn't heard. He focused on aligning each label, perfectly determined to prove them wrong. Another co-worker, Lisa, a young woman with a quick smile, was kinder. "Hey, Tom, need a hand? Just shout. If you do, okay," she said, her tone genuine. Tom nodded, his smile returning. "Thanks, Lisa," he replied, his voice soft but grateful. Her small gesture felt like a bridge connecting him to this new world. Amid the market's lively rhythm, a woman entered her presence, slicing through the hum like a discordant note. Helen, in her early 40s, wore a tailored coat that screamed expense, her hair styled with meticulous care. Her posture was rigid, her eyes scanning the store with a disdain that seemed to precede her. She moved with purpose, her heels clicking sharply against the tiled floor as she pushed a cart through the aisles. When she passed the shelf where Tom was working, her gaze lingered on him, her lips pursing as she watched him methodically check each can. Slow as molasses, she muttered loud enough for Lisa to overhear. Lisa frowned, but said nothing, returning to her own tasks. Tom, absorbed in his work, didn't notice Helen's scrutiny. He was too focused on his next assignment, moving to the checkout counter to assist with bagging. Sarah guided him to a register, showing him how to use the scanner and interact with customers. "Just smile and say, 'Thank you for shopping with us,'" she instructed. Tom nodded, repeating the phrase in his head like a mantra. Standing behind the counter, he felt a swell of pride even as his hands trembled slightly with nerves. He was part of something now, part of the Greenleaf team. As the hours passed, Tom grew more comfortable. He bagged items for a few customers without a hitch, his movements careful but deliberate. An elderly woman, her hands trembling,